You've been waiting patiently.
Sure.
Oh, I'm talking about your attorney. I mean, you have to be here. But thank you for your patiently waiting. Before we go on the record, what's up with these new haircuts that you young people are wearing? Where it's like low and high on the top. Who started that trend? I just want to know. Because we had our own styles going out. We had the, what was it called, Vashon? The high top fade?
Yes.
So, I mean, we had some,
They actually had it in the 90s, but then they brought it back now. All the old stuff is coming back. So like I had to get it. So I was like,
all the old stuff is new. Is that's not the Marbach though, is it?
no, it's like the fluffy, like kind of like a fluffy, like mid fade kind of, I don't know what to call it.
Okay. See, this is young people today. We had names for our styles. We called it high top fade. They even made a rap song about it. They, Norma, you haven't heard of the rap song about that?
No.
Oh my gosh. Sean, help Norma out. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 2570B, State of Texas versus Joshua Cannon. Can our parties announce for the record for the state
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Danny
defense?
Callahan for defense.
And are you Joshua Cannon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, you received all the discovery. Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Cannon, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated robbery? That's a first degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years up to life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state, I'm sorry. Just one moment. I keep getting text messages that are from other judges. I'm the presiding judge, so I have to answer from all the other courts. All right. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Cannon, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's to be a $2,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. There's restitution, if any, to the complainant. There's to be no contact with Cameron, Jeremiah Morales, or Jasmine Whitman, or Manuel Mendoza. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And if the court finds there will be an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, did you understand that?
Yes, Your
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 10 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 250 hours community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence
Your Honor, I submit State's Exhibit 1 and the attachments.
No objection.
showing you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Yes, Your Honor.
In State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, the involvement in this case involves two weaknesses. Young man's poor judgment and also mental illness issues. In the court today is your father has been taking care of him and will continue to take care of him. Raise your hand. For a long time. He's under good supervision right now. There's a history between the complainant and the defendant. He helped raise both of them. The complainant is an antagonistic person throughout their life, getting on him. He took revenge and came back, and that's the case in front of you. That's over. That ain't gonna happen anymore. This is not a stranger. This is basically stepchildren, family problem.
I think that makes it worse that it's not a stranger. Why are you doing this?
Because he had threatened me before and had stolen stuff from me, and I just wanted to.
No, this reads like an entire setup. This girl named Jasmine Ruth Whitman, I guess invites him to go somewhere and it's a park and then you all show up.
I didn't have any contact with him. Did not text him. Did not call him.
Oh, you just ended up in the park. This is like the Warriors where people just end up in the park. I'm sorry, that movie is probably before your time. So you're telling me that people just end up at the park?
No. I stole my grandma's car and took it, and I took them with me to the park. And I made some poorly choices in what I did.
Well, so you steal your grandmother's car to go to this park. So somebody had to tell you, hey, we're meeting up at the park. That's where Cameron's gonna be. Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know why people get before the court and then they're all fearful. Do you want to go to prison?
No.
I mean, because you can go to prison and the way you took his stuff, somebody at the prison will probably take your stuff. And then leaving him at the park in his underwear. That's all sorts of wrong. And this is supposed to be somebody you grew up with. So why are you doing this? And don't give me this story of Adam and Eve where it's all Eve's fault.
You're right. It's all my fault. I caused the situation.
So why?
Because he had done stuff to me in the past. Choked me 3 times to where I passed out, stole stuff from me.
Now, did you call the police?
No,
All right. So I don't have any proof of that. I just have you telling me that. Are you employed? What do you do in your life besides going to the park to rob somebody that's supposed to be like a brother to you because y'all were raised together?
I go to church. I
Not learning what's happening in church. Do you go to church and actually listen to what's going on in church?
just
And do you just, as my grandmother would say, do you just leave the teachings in the church inside the church and then just break all the commandments?
I take it with me wherever I go.
Well, on this night, you broke a lot of commandments. You understand that? I think there's something called thou shalt not steal. Or did I just make that one up? I think that's one of the commandments.
7.
Thank you. So you did that. Are you employed? So what do you do?
I'm trying to look for a job, but I can't because I'm on house arrest.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to get a job and help my grandpa and pay back the fines that I owe and pay back the money that I owe him.
Did you graduate from high school?
No, I'm gonna get my GED.
Do you have any children?
No,
Are you sure?
sure.
You don't have any children on the way?
No,
Are you sure?
yes,
All right, so defense, you were talking about mental health or something?
He does better with being supervised since his youth. I mean, he's young right now. And I take that as indicative that there is a deficiency.
All right, this is what the court is going to do, $2,000 fine, that'll be probated, 10 years deferred adjudication, restitution, and no contact with Cameron Jeremiah Morales. No contact with Jasmine Whitman or Manuel Mendoza. 250 hours of community service restitution, regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular UAs. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? Here's the thing. You need to be honest with me because I'll have you drug tested right now. I know people see a female back there and they're like, oh, the female can't test me. We have male probation officers who are at court today, and all she does is she picks up the phone, calls them, and they do the UA.
negative.
All right. When's the last time you used?
Last week,
All right. What are you using?
THC,
Anything else?
that's it.
All right. You're going to get tested today. And if it's more than that, we're going to have a problem. You understand?
Trust me, it's just THC.
Okay. All right. I'm going to want field visits. One time per month for every 3 months. Well, one time every 3 months. Proof of employment within 45 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation. If he needs some sort of job training to help him find employment, please do that. Is there anything else he needs?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
All right, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, and I'm going to ask for anger management. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes,
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
yes, sir.
And because this is a felony, I'm sorry, and because this is an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, well, because of that, and also because you're on probation out of this court, you know you're not allowed to have any weapons, you understand? And you can't possess any weapons. If you want to know what a weapon is, you'll have to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So don't have any weapons in your household. We can go off the record. You're young. This could have turned out so much differently, right? It could have been worse than what it is, and you could be going to prison. From here on out, everything that you do in your life, every choice you make, you need to ask yourself, is this something that could result in me going to prison for life? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Judge.